Hello and welcome to Pratik Chess Videos.
Hey friends, today we are going to see a game between Oleg Skvortsov and Vishwanathan Anand. Yes, sir. Today is a brilliant game in which a queen sacrifice uh, uh, and a piece sacrifice happens. It is just crazy. Let's start the game. Alright, the game started with the movie 4, then happened. Well, he often plays c5, but in the game he played e5, knight f3, knight c6, and now bishop to c4, and then bishop to c5, c3, knight f6. We follow the main lines of the Gyoko piano, and now d4. This break in the center is called as the main lines with d4 and d3, and now e into d4. And now there are variations. The main is here actually to take bishop to b4 check, and now here the main move is bishop to d2, after which there are two variations. One variation is like uh, a trending bishop knight into e4. This variation, trending variation, here takes bishop into f7 check, king into f7, queen b3 check, and now d5, queen into b4, and now here we reach a playable position after rook to e8, short castle, and now king to g8. So see in the live book, well, so here knight into e4 was actually not played, all right, but in the game was played bishop into d2 check, and then knight b into d2, and this theory follows after d5, then takes queen b3, bishop a6, a3, c, knight e7, c6. So this is a kind of equal position, but in the game after e into d4, interesting move b4 happened. Now what is b4's idea? Well, b4, one thing is for sure, b4 is attacking the c5, but what is the idea here? So now the idea is that when you play bishop to b6, now see, now starts the fun, because after bishop to b6, firstly if you take on d4, then it's a bad move here. Oh, and now knight into e4 just, and then I think we would be quite good in this position. Yup, seems good. Black is better, because now see, here we have firstly we have an extra pawn. 6 want to, yeah, we have an extra pawn, and secondly these two weaknesses can be exploited uh, very nicely. So here that, so after knight into e4, here after b4, the whole idea here is to just after bishop to b6 intercept b5. So whole idea is here to sometime intercept with b5 and then take d4, and then get the center. Yeah, get a center. So that's the whole idea here. But here in the game, mm, there's the move. There's b5, but in the game was played e5. And after e5, here is interesting because now there are choices to play knight e4 or d5. Well, knight e4 is the best move according to the engine because after c into d4, still there's this idea. Firstly, we can also play d5, e takes d6, knight takes d6, attacking the bishop. If queen e2 check, then let's say queen e7, queen into e7 check, king into e7, and now bishop to b3 something, and then we can take on d4, being a pawn up because two pawns are under attack, so you will be a pawn down. So now after knight e4 is the best engine move. This is why. But in the game was played d5. Alright, d5 has the idea to here firstly attack, and also we are counter attacking because white is attacking the knight and here. So if e into f6, then d into c4. Well, see, so now d5, but still d5 is little bit bad because d5 is little bit a lose move because e into f6, d into c4, and now queen e2 check, um, intermediate check. Now bishop to e6, and now there can be played f into b7. But as I said, we can intercept with b5. So white's idea was over. He intercepted here with b5, and now it's bad for black here. Alright, so that's why this is a bad move. But here is the fun because now actually knight to b4 was played. Mm, well, nice move because see. Now, firstly, let's count the material 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are a pawn up, and after knight to b4, black's whole idea here is that when white takes this on c into b4, the two pawns become very dangerous and very nice because now along with this bishop pair, black is very well and still it is black to move. But after knight to b4, there's this move f into g7, and after f into g7 comes rook to g8. And actually, after b5 here, knight a5 was also good, but the knight on e5 is kind of cornered here, so that's why it's not more of an option. So after f into g7, rook to g8 is forced because knight to d3 check. Mm, here fails to, it's a blunder because it fails to queen into d3. Nice move because see, if you take on d3, then g into h8 is equal to queen, and it's a bad move because now we white took the rook and made a queen, so that's why white is a piece and a queen up, and we are also exchanging the queens. So this is obviously winning for white. So that's why, because of all these reasons, firstly black played rook to g8, evading the threat, and now c into b4. Well, c into b4 here has the idea of now after c into b4 we may have obtained the center pawns, but now comes the ideas of a4 to a5 and then trapping this bishop. So that's why we need to be careful about those ideas. And also black here has two castle on the queen side, while white can castle on the king side. But the castling on the king side is what made the difference here. See, but now let's compare here. So after c into b4, well, it's a logical move was played queen to f6, developing the queen. now, now it sets a little of a trap because see if you play here short castle, then well, it's not kind of a trap, but actually it's not a trap because here after d3, if you okay, here comes a queen to b2, and actually now it's a bad time here for black because black is now, see if you can see here, then into the game here it's a bad end game for black because obviously you aren't getting any attack if the queens are exchanged. That's why d3 is a bad move. And here the evaluation here is that finally here white has a decisive advantage. So here that's why after d3, after short castle, firstly queen into g7. Alright, queen into g7, the idea of queen into g7 is simple. We want to checkmate here, so that's why g3. And now after g3, here comes, well, firstly let's promote. Yeah, and now after g3, now follows interesting move. Black plays long castle. Well, long castle doesn't seem such a move because see, long castle is a pretty sharp move, and we might get this a interesting move because it's quite a sharp move here. So the idea of long castle here is to, mm, well, yeah, let's see what the idea is of long castle, because as much as I think it is, well, see here, I think here the threat is to of black is here to play. Well, let's first here, yeah. What is the threat here? So the threat here is to play bishop to d5 because the diagonal is weak here. That's why bishop to d5 comes, and then we will put pressure along with queen g4, queen s3, so that is gonna be dangerous. And also there's one more hidden threat here. So here after long castle, here, well, here it was played a4, Now a4's idea here is obviously to play a5 and then trap the bishop. So well, this is a very concrete idea. So now we need to take action, or else it will be bad. And now comes a nice move. Firstly, let's see what about queen to e5. Queen to e5 is an interesting move, a move worth considering, because now here after queen to e5 now takes obvious. I think we should take here knight into e5, and now um after knight into e5, what should we play here? So we take help from an engine. So now what does the engine suggest? Yeah, c3, and now a4, and now comes d3. So this is like full all attack mode. And well, now bishop e3, and now c2. Black is rampaging here with his pawns, and now after knight d2 f6, knight e f3, and now rook to g4, attacking the b4 pawn. And I think here bishop c5 or a5. See, bishop c5, now bishop into c5, b into c5, rook to b4, and now rook to b4, rook fe1, bishop to f7, with I think enough compensation for the piece. Alright, so that's why here in the game a4, and after a4, now unique move d3. Now normally we wouldn't play d3 here because queen to b2, and well, queen to b2 was played in the game, but that's the whole idea. See, so firstly, why queen b2 is important? So b2 is important because a1 is hanging and also e2. So only move to defend both is queen to b2 or queen to e5. See, firstly, if queen to e5 and then queen into e5, knight into e5, and then simple bishop to d4, it is a nice victory. So queen to e5 is a mistake. So queen to b2, and now there is it is now interesting about what to play. Well, so here firstly there are many moves here. There's bishop d4, there's queen to g4. Actually, in the game, mm, after d3, there's another move here, queen to b2. And now what should we play? Now it was happened, queen into b3, nice sacrifice. And now h into g3, rook into g3 check. So after rook into g3 check, so this nice queen sacrifice. Now king to h2 was played. Now rook into f3. So what did we get? Now here let's first count the material. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are 3 pawns up, and we have the bishop pair, and opponent's king is in a bad spot. So we have 3 pawns against a queen, but the compensation is more than enough here. Actually, I think it's black who's winning here, because see, if you give even black one move, uh, You know what black idea is? Rook to g8, rook to h3 is mate. That's black's idea here. Well, that's a juicy idea to be sure, because see, we first play rook to g8, rook to h3, it's a mate. These two bishops are just very good here. So these two bishops, they are just unstoppable. All right. Yeah. So that's why, because of all these coordination, the pawns on d3, c4, the two bishop pair and the two rooks, this game is nice. Winning. So after rook into f3, now was played bishop to g5. Now bishop to g5, idea of bishop g5 is undoubtedly here to take on d8. So in the game here was played bishop to d4. Bishop to d4 is um, an okay move. So here queen to d2. And now after queen to d2, seems like we can take the rook, but no, we can't, because white is taking our rook also, and that is gonna be bad. So that's why after queen to d2, let's play rook to g8. Good move. And after rook to g8 here it was, well, rook to g8. Simple idea here is to play h6, so that now rook to h3 check, and then rook into g5 is one idea. So h6 is our whole idea. So here after rook to g8, rook to a3, first defending, getting the rook out of the way, and now h6. h6, now whole idea is executed. So h6 idea here is rook to h3 check, and now rook into g5. So after h6, here white can't do much, and he played rook to g1 in a vain attempt to try and defend the g5 bishop. But still rook to h3 check, king to g2, and now rook into g5 check, with the idea that king to f1 fails to rook into g1 check, king into g1, and now final move of the game. Pause the video and think. Alright, the final blow, bishop to d5, bishop to d5, and now it's a mate. Rook to h1 here is coming, and it can't be stopped because this is pinned, and also it's just, and this bishop is supporting. So an amazing game. The final position by the contribution of the h3, rook, two bishops, and two pawns. What an beautiful game! Such a like amazing style game. So here, uh, well, let's go to the beginning to review what we learned here. So see now, first things first, the fun started here with b4, interesting move. Then came e5, then d5, and then both sides here. And now after here takes c. This knight b4 was just an amazing starting. And then after queen into g7, and then this whole combination with queen into g3, and now it was just epic game. So well, this was the game. I hope you like this video, and don't forget to click the subscribe button and the bell icon. Thank you.